Hey, what's happening, everybody? As you can tell, I have a little bit of a different background behind me. That's because I'm on the road attending a seminar, and I'm doing this video from my phone instead of my camera, so I'll have to make sure I nail it the first time. Anyways, this got me thinking about making do with what you have. Now, usually I have a tripod, I set my camera up, I have either my background, I use an ocean, I use some really pretty natural background, or I have all my photos behind me. And if I mess up, I can get up and restart, do over, whatever it is. But sometimes you don't have the perfect setup. You just don't have the perfect setup. You don't have the perfect lighting. You don't have the ideal camera. Sometimes you don't have the perfect conditions to follow your nutrition program or exercise. Sometimes you don't have the perfect dialogue going on in your life between your spouse. Sometimes you don't have the most ideal living conditions or working conditions or anything else. There's a reason for that, and I think that reason is because if we had the ideal all the time, how would we ever know it's the ideal unless we had something to contrast it with? And how would we ever be able to appreciate it at the level we can if we do not have it? Think about that. If you always had just the perfect conditions, if I always had my tripod and my camera and I could just do my videos whenever I wanted to, would I ever really be able to appreciate the value of it like I can right now? You know, it's a whole different feel. It's a whole different setup sitting here holding this phone and looking at the camera like this versus being able to go and move around and have the freedom to be expressive with my hands and whatnot. Much the same as eating out, being on the road in a hotel. It's a lot more challenging to get my nutrition and exercise in. I don't have the gym I want to use. I have to switch up my workout. I don't have my store, my routine, my refrigerator, whatever it is, right? So I have to make some adjustments. I have to make some adjustments, and those adjustments are so great because, one, it challenges me and it makes me realize what I can do when I hold myself accountable into a higher standard of what I want. And two, it really, really, really helps me value those things that I have, those things I take for granted every day. So when we don't have the most ideal conditions in life, and ideal can be extremes, right? We can have, some of us are going to go through some really tough times right now, some of us not so much. Regardless, when we're not in the most ideal situation, we're not going through the most ideal scenario or times, remember there's a reason for it. And that reason is for you to be able to look and appreciate all that you have and to be able to appreciate the good times when they come. Because the good times would just be, they'd just be average if you didn't have the not so ideal times to contrast it to, right? And the great times, would you even be able to label them as being great? How could you if they were just a standard all the time? So think about that. If you find yourself in not so ideal conditions or not so ideal times right now, maybe even are not the best or some of the worst or really shitty times, whatever it is, remember that there's a reason why. There's a reason why, and I really believe that one of those reasons is to allow you the tools and the ability to appreciate the good times. I'll talk to you all soon.